Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Ellen Brax. I work for the Spokane County Library District. I'm the Public Services Manager for Early Learning, and I'm here today with my colleague, Sheri Boggs. Hi, Sheri. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mel?
Good. So tell me, what do you do for the district? Why are we together today?
Well, I am the buyer for well, not the buyer, the youth buyer for the district. So I'm responsible for everything in the collection from age 0 up to 18. So that's everything from board books to young adult, and fiction, nonfiction, digital, physical. It's a lot.
Yes. So I get to work with Sheri. I do all the programming for early learning from ages birth to age 8, and we have a team of librarians that actually do all the programming. I just get to be in charge of it, which is a lot of fun. So one of our favorite things to do, though, is talk about books. So that's what we're here today, to talk about some new picture books for you, hence the name Picture Book Chat. So I hope you enjoy our conversation today. And Sheri, what are we going to start off with today?
Oh my gosh, I've got a fun batch this time. The first one that I'm going to tell you about, Mel, is Over and Under the Rainforest. Trying to hold this so it doesn't get a glare. So this is by Kate Messner, and she's got kind of a whole series of these over and under books. And this is the fourth one. Previously, she did Over and Under the Snow, Up in the Garden and Down in the Dirt, and Over and Under the Pond. So this is your typical journey story. It starts out with two people going walking into the rainforest, which is full of monkeys and snakes and birds and bugs. It's a great read aloud. There's lots of new vocabulary. There were some animals in here that I didn't know, so I ended up learning something. The sounds that the words make it's just got a great cadence to it. I think it would flow really well, like in a preschool story time. And you learn a lot about the rainforest and the animals that live there. As the two people are walking through the forest, sometimes they're up high, like the title would indicate, Over and Under the Rainforest. And sometimes they're down on the ground floor looking at the canopy of trees. And so you kind of learn about what the animals that live there need in their environment. And it's got this great sense of continuity, like you'll be introduced to certain kinds of birds earlier in the book, and if you pay attention as you go through the book, you'll see them a little bit later. So it can be a fun opportunity to ask your audience, like, what else do you see in this picture? Is there something here that we've seen before? What else about this? Oh, it's got a great sense of suspense. As you're going through the story, towards the end, it gets darker the deeper you get into the forest and maybe further in the day. And at one point, one of the figures sees something up in the canopy of branches and calls out to it. And there's this pause, like the forest waits. And that could be really fun in a story time, to just kind of pause. And then you turn the page and it's this explosion of howler monkeys. So super fun. I think it's got some great audience participation. But Mel, I am curious what you think of this book and how you would use it in story times.
Oh, number one, I thought this was a gorgeous book. And so I really did enjoy it. There's a couple of things I just loved from a teacher perspective. If I had picked up this book, that at the back of the book, there is a glossary of all the animals in here that I thought, oh, how much fun would that be, so that you can give the kids a little bit more information. The only thing I wished is that they had put in pronunciations for some of the animals, because I was kind of like, oh, wow, okay, how am I going to see this? The Montezuma oropendola. Which is a bird. So yeah, I really loved that. So one of the things I thought that we could do with this book too, if the kids had more questions, or since these are drawings, wanted to see some actual photographs, that we could use our World Book Online to go in and find a picture of it. And sometimes they have video clips of certain animals that you could use. So you could actually show them a little video clip and see an actual photograph. So I really like that about a possible way to use the book. I think this will go great with so many nature units, and you could really do a comparison with, well, have you walked in the woods around here? What are some of the animals we see here versus what they see there in the jungle? So I really, in the rainforest. So I really like that. I love that they did the movements and the sounds of the animals. So you could really do some fun action type activities with this, using the different sounds and having the kids imitate the sounds, but with the movements, which actually, with the positional words over and under, you're really starting some very basic math concepts too. So I really like that aspect of it. I think even if you could do an outdoor hike, so as a parent, if you found this book, well, what sounds do we hear animals making? So in my house, there's a lot of sounds. It's usually dogs and cats. But, occasionally we've got a lot of birds around here and things like that. But if you can cue in the kids on some of those sounds and to take a little notice on what's going on around them, I think that's a great skill to have. So, I mean, just so much nature things. You can focus on one animal and learn all you can, and have the kids even draw a picture of their favorite animal or what might be your favorite animal that we have here. I do love that at the end, don't they talk about the jaguar at the end and going to going to bed? And but they end up at home, there. So I just thought that was a beautiful way to end it. So I just really liked all the illustrations. I think they really captured the feeling of the rainforest, that it's kind of dark. I think you could do some fun artwork with that too. But yeah, I really like this, and I didn't realize she had done other over and unders. But I think this would be a great introduction in story time. So to the rainforest and kind of a nature theme. You could even do a whole nature theme in story time and include some of them, or you could just compare all the over and under books. That would be a lot of fun. Ooh.
Yeah. There's my
bag.
Yeah. As you were talking, Mel, one thing I thought of was here in Washington State, we have a temperate rainforest. And
That's
so,
right.
Like if your family, say, has been to the Olympic rainforest, you could talk about how there are different kinds of rainforests, and
yeah,
how is this different than the one we have right here in this state?
That's right. Being on the east side of the state, I forget about that. So
my old district was in Olympia, so like it was amazingly humid there. I mean, cold, but humid. So
yeah. No, that's a great point.
That I never see here.
Yeah. So, and then you could really call up some pictures on the internet, or using World Book about, and really show the differences between the rainforests and what they might look differently. So yeah, no, that's a good point. So thank you for sharing that. Completely forgot. We haven't been out of the house in so long, we're forgetting what's around us, right?
Yeah. It's like, there's another side of the state.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I've just been in my house all this time.
Yeah.
So my next book, earlier you were talking about dogs and cats. This one is This Little Pup.
Yes. So
Mary Ellen dogs. So this book really jumped out at me. So this starts out in a very busy barnyard, and the little boy in the story is going to throw one blue ball for the little pup. And when you look at the spread, there's every kind of animal in this barnyard, and the ball bounces past 2 brown cows, 3 green frogs, 4 pink pigs. So it ends up being a counting book. There's colors. What I really love about it, I'll see if I can turn to a page where you can see this, but the illustrations are super bold. I feel like this would be great in a toddler story time, because you can really see what's going on. And when you turn the page to the cows, I just love how close up that is. Like,
Yes.
I think it's like super engaging to young listeners. And as I was looking through it, I went to the back to try to see how the illustrator did her illustrations. And in some places it almost looks like a cut or torn paper, but I think it's just the effect that she's using in whatever illustration, maybe software that she's using, or even painting, but it just has this rich textured look to it that I thought was really cool. What else about this? I just love all the different animals that are introduced. I love that there's kind of this through line of the ball bouncing. Yeah. I think it can be really fun for kids to kind of count along through the story and like find the ball as the pages get busier and busier. Mel, what did you think about this one?
Oh, I loved it. I just thought it was such a fun book to share on Storytime. And like you said, toddlers, I think, would have a lot of fun with it. But for the preschool age, you got so many counting things, and like you can even point and count everything and stop and count on a few of the pages. One of the things I really liked about this book, I actually read this book to our neighbors, a couple months ago when it was still nice out, but we looked at the end papers too. So here's the dog kind of half asleep eyeing the ball. And then at the end, he's just completely asleep after playing and chasing the ball. So that was really just kind of a fun thing to look at. And then if you open up the whole book, you can just see the ball. So yeah, a lot of times those front covers can be just a landscape picture there. So I really enjoyed that, just looking at it that way. I mean, there's just so much counting you could do in here, but you could have the kids take out all the little farm animals that they may have and then do some counting and some sorting there. So you're working on those math skills there. I thought it would be really fun to create their own stories about what would their pup see if they bounced the ball and it went through their yard. So what are some of the things that they would pass? So you can kind of work on those narrative skills and those storytelling skills there. I thought, if you counted up all the animals in the book and then you could chart them and then make a graph so that you could see the different numbers, and then you could even do it with colors too. And I thought that would be a really fun way to get a visual and introduce graphing to the kids too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I think the kids would absolutely, I know my neighbors really enjoyed it. Yeah, we were socially distanced, so they were a little far away, but you could see the 4-year-old really wanting to come over and really look at the pictures. But just everybody together too. You can really, if you're reading this book in a small group or with the child on your lap, you can really talk about what they see there. So that can be a lot of fun. So you can really work on their vocabulary skills and their animal names, and all of that is so much fun. Even as you're reading it, you can pause and say, what sound does the pig make? What sound does the cow make? Which is really entertaining for toddlers. Anytime you can make animal noises, love it, right? So yeah, this would be a really fun one to use in story time. I could really see the kids having fun with it. So yeah, I think that was, I don't know if it was my favorite out of the bunch. Well, we can talk about that at the end, but it was definitely just a really fun book to share. Kids loved it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, from that one, we're going to go to Eek. A Noisey Journey from A to Z. So we're going from kind of a counting book to an ABC book. As the title indicates, there are lots of noises, lots of sounds in this. We've got this dapper little mouse with his great little trousers carrying a flower someplace. I love how the illustrations, I'm going to open it up a little bit further. They have this great kind of almost like folk art look to them. They're just really strong and bold, and I love, you know, some of the design. Like that almost looks like some henna design on the cat.
It does, yes.
Yeah,
well, I just love how brilliant those colors are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the textiles, like the mouse's little pants and his little jacket.
Yeah.
You can tell so I'm just like, oh, those trousers. So you've got these sounds that begin with each letter of the alphabet, but then you've also got, you know, like it says chirp and ding-a-ling, but then there are other things for the child to identify, you know, like what's this? What letter does this start with? So you can talk about, you know, not just the letter that begins each sound, but each thing that's on the page and what it represents. And it's got some really funny opportunities to ask questions while you're reading. You know, like for instance, why are we saying eek here?
Yeah.
Could it be the giant cat? I have to, there's this one made me laugh. It's like, ick, why are we saying ick?
Yeah.
Like this little poo in the story.
Yeah.
So I think this is like, I think preschoolers and maybe some older toddlers would really like this. There's lots of fun stuff to look for in the illustrations. Mel, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I really like that they did the sounds, because that's such a different way to do it than what's on the page. But I also thought you could extend it a little bit and say, is there anything on the page that begins with that letter? Or can you think of something that begins with that letter or sounds like that letter? So I really thought that was a lot of fun. You could also have them tell what's happening on the page. There's a sound, but what is happening that is making that sound? So then once again, you're working on kind of those narrative skills there, storytelling. So yeah, I thought this was a really fun one. And then you could actually have them kind of create a whole story going throughout the whole book. So this is one, and I always say this when you're reading alphabet books, is that you know there's going to be at least 26 pages there. So it can be hard for toddlers to sit through it, but with this format, with the sounds, I think toddlers would find it very easy to sit through this. One-on-one, you could talk about things on the page, but in a group, you could, like for V, vroom, you know, oh, vroom's the sound the car makes. So you could expand a little bit on that. So you're giving that vocabulary to your toddlers too. But yeah, then there's, like you said, there's just so much on the page to talk about. It would be so much fun. So, and I know a lot of toddlers could sit there for quite a while and point to things and ask you, what's that? What's that? What's that? And so that right there, you'd be building that vocabulary there. So, but I just thought the illustrations were beautiful. Yeah, another favorite. It's hard to pick which one out of the bunch was a favorite, because then I think of other books that we've talked about, but I really like that one too. Which just means that's why it's great to come to the library and check out all these books. So there's so many to choose from. But like you said, when I first saw it and I saw this little guy with his little pants on, little shirt, I mean, how could you not, you know, like them? So yeah, another fun, and you know, you could have the kids all repeat the sounds. So, and you know, eventually something would fall in your house and you might hear that sound. You know, they might really decide they really enjoy that sound. So,
Right.
You never know. So
Lots of
yeah,
things
no,
happen in a day where you say, oops.
yeah.
You know, something you said I wanted to come back to when we were talking about the rainforest and how, you know, like we've both been at home and not
Mhm.
going anywhere. One thing I wanted to remind our viewers of is, you know, even though we've been working from home, I know your team and you have still been planning and putting on story times and programs
Mhm.
online, and I'm still ordering every week. And so
Right.
there's new stuff coming into the library still all the time. And even though our buildings are close to the public, we still have curbside, and you can look and see what the
Yes.
new books are on our website and put
Mm,
holds on them and come and get them. Be the first
yeah.
person to check some of these great books out.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, it's,
Mhm.
and part of the reason we're doing this is to kind of, since we can't really display the books in our buildings right now, this is a way for us to get the word out about all the great stuff that we're getting in.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, we have story times up on our website now that you could go in and take a look at in your, when it's convenient for you. They come up on Facebook every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. But once you get into where our YouTube channel is, and if you can go in and just click on any story time that's there and watch it at your convenience. So yeah, we're still doing a lot of things. So it's been a lot of fun. So I've really enjoyed that. So yes, so I think we have one more book to talk about
We
too.
sure do. And it's funny, this one's called Hurry Up. And I have a feeling that this was not, it wasn't published before COVID hit, but it was selected to be published. So because it begins like, you know, the alarm goes off, everybody's running down the stairs to get out the door to go to school. And it's just like, oh gosh, when's the last time we had to hurry for anything? You know, it's like I miss it. But yeah, you see, you know, kind of the, oh no, alarm clock, gotta go. And so everything is just hurry, 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 hurry round and round, hurry, scurry everywhere. Um, so this is all about hurrying, and like you have to hurry if you want to get ahead and be on top. And then what happens is like, what if you stop and you just smell the flowers, hang out with your dog, take a break? You know, it's kind of what everybody's been kind of forced to do. But I think a lot of people have realized, um, you know, that sometimes there are things about a slower pace that are really nice. You know, it's like spending more time with your family and your pets and being outside a little bit more when you can do that, taking walks, making new friends. I love this rainbow. So I love the message of this book. This is a great one that you could use when you're talking about, you know, mindfulness. We have lots of books on mindfulness for kids and like beginning
Yeah.
yoga for kids. I think this fits in that genre of books really well. I also love something that I noticed the illustrator was doing with the art. It's in the early part of the book where it's all about hurrying. There's not a lot of color. It's just kind of white backgrounds and really kind of rigid, straight lines, boxy shapes, especially this spread with the desks.
Oh
There's no
yeah.
color there. And then when you get out in nature, like look at all these glorious sunny colors. The shapes are a lot more organic and round.
Hmm.
Uh, so I don't know if that was an intentional choice on the illustrator's part, but I love what it does for the course of the story.
Hmm.
So Mel, tell me what you think of this one.
Oh, I really love this, and I think from a child's perspective, adults are always telling them to hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. When really, for most kiddos, they like that chance to slow down, or they may be taking a slower time to get ready. I mean, there's always those kids that are just here and there and everywhere, but even those kiddos that are very busy often feel hurried because there's something else they want to be doing. So I really like this whole, yeah, it's okay to slow down, take a deep breath, relax. So there's some social emotional going along with that too, because kids that are being hurried are often sometimes can be a little temperamental, or they lose, their patience. And so this kind of can help to say, okay, we can take a deep breath. We can slow down for a minute. I love the rhyming in this too. So as you're reading, it would be a great storytime book because of the rhyming. And I feel like anytime I have a rhyming book, even though the concept may be more for preschoolers, you could read this to toddlers. And they would appreciate just hearing the rhythm of the text being read. But, one of the things you can do is, well, how do you feel when you're being hurried? What are some things that, you could do to help you slow down? Or what are some things that you can do differently so you don't have to hurry? So, that's a great talk for those kiddos that, a lot of times they're being hurried out the door to get to school in the morning. And I know we've got some kids that are going to school and some kids that are schooling at home, but the whole thing, they still have to be online at a certain time. So, you could actually use that as a discussion piece with your child to say, okay, well, what can we do so that we're not having to hurry so much in the morning? Or, or how do you feel when you're being hurried? And, adults can feel the same way when their child is, wanting them to hurry up and, fix my snack for me, or let's go to the park. So I think with that, I think anytime, what I love about all 4 of these books is that they make for a lot of good conversation back and forth. And so that's the everyday language and learning opportunities, LO. But what that does is it builds vocabulary. The more you can have that back and forth conversation about anything, you're building vocabulary. And that's one of the things that kids need to be ready to learn when they get to school, is that vocabulary, and hearing lots of different words and experiencing lots of different words. So, and having lots of conversations. The other thought I had about this book is you could have them draw a picture of what they like to do in their downtime, in their slow time, and then tell the story about that. So it gets them thinking a little bit about, oh yeah, this is what I do when I'm, just hanging out and resting and enjoying. What's your favorite thing to do where it's kind of mellow and you're not having to rush about? So I think about that a lot. I see one of my neighbor kids outside right now. And of course he's been in school, so he's running around. But which is good for him, definitely. But, it's just one of those things, it's really hard. It's a great way to show children the difference between hurry and slow down too. It's that opposite. What else? You could talk about different opposite things too, in that same vein. But yeah, I like this. And I thought the illustrations were just beautiful in this one too. So many talented artists out there, right? Well, I mean, I just love this scape where he's on top of a hill and looking down. So pretty. I really like that. So, yeah, and even the playground and the pup playing too. So, just really different illustrations too. So, another favorite. What can I say? I like them all.
Me too. I know, like, if I had to pick a favorite, it's a toss-up for me between Hurry Up and Eek. And I think it's just, but I loved all of them. But I think with Eek, it's the illustrations and the colors and just the vibrancy of it. With Hurry Up, I think it's the way the art works with the story to tell the story. And I like the diversity of it. And just, the message, I think, is really an important one. And because it's, even as adults, we do that to ourselves. It's just be productive. You've got 5 down minutes, like make them count. Clean out the dishwasher and, maybe get a little bit more work done. Like sometimes it's nice to just chill out. And even if you can't go outside, I think your idea about having them talk about how they would spend no time. I mean, it's like there's this whole inside outside thing, like how do we chill out when we're inside? And what does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could definitely see that. What could you do outside versus what could you do inside? So, yeah. Well, another thing I was thinking about all these great books, we've got our 1,000 books before kindergarten reading challenge going, where you try to read 1,000 books before your child gets up to kindergarten. So remember, these would make great ones to put in your reading list once you register for that program, which is on our website, and you can go to our website and you'll see a little thing that says reading challenges. And right now we have a couple going on, but this is for the early learning set from ages birth to age 6 when they start kindergarten. So any of these would make great read alouds for that. So don't forget to check out our 1,000 books before kindergarten. So Sheri, as always, it's a pleasure talking books with you. I just love it.
Glad we're doing this.
Yes. So, and you can also pull up new picture books on our catalog also. So these are just a few that we wanted to highlight, but if you're saying, ooh, I want to see what else is there, if you go to our catalog, you can narrow down the search for picture books to just the new picture books that have come in, which is a very nice, fun thing to do.
There's great stuff all the time. It's hard to even narrow down what Mel and I are going to talk about because, seriously, we could like sit here with a pile of 50 books, but but we'd be using our district Zoom account like all day long. So another we'd be using for Storytime. So
and other programs. So.
I know.
Well, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll have another one for you pretty soon. So enjoy your day, and thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.